Hi, this is Zak Mir with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zaks Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 29th of April. Starting off with the FTSE, which has had blue candles for days on end. It's almost like a spring heat wave in terms of the bulls, but a little bit of backing off there towards the 50-day line there, 85.07, and that resistance line there from March. So that is the big area to break. On the downside, the 200-day line there, 83.46. Hopefully that would provide support, but not really expecting the market to go or stay below that level, given that the RSI is now 53 and above the neutral 50 level. Moving on to the DAX, which has played quite a blinder in recent sessions. We've had the bear trap island reversal, obviously a massive rebound after the tariff spoof, and we're back in the range, the pre-tariff range of around 22,000 to the high level of 23,500, we hope. Above the 50-day line, looking for the highs, but there is the gap to fill first at 22,800. That's a closer target for the market. In terms of the downside, looking for 21,700 to cap any or to stem any losses if we have to go down there. RSI at 58, so in a good place for further gains. Moving along to the Dow, and here you can see that the market toying with that old support line projection from back in November, still finding resistance there, and there's even more resistance at 40,800, but really want to see an end of day close above that. RSI still below neutral 50, which it has been since February the 20th, which must be, well, it's quite an achievement, even if it's not a record. But we do have the unfilled gap to the upside that we had last week, and while that holds around 39,300, looking for this market to head rather nearer towards the 50-day line, 41,600, than it is at the moment. Moving on to Bitcoin, which has also recovered in the recent past. Here you can see that we're in this, looks like a mid-move consolidation ahead of a new move to the upside, which we're expecting to be 100,000 as the target, while we're above, let's say, 93,000. Top of the channel there, heading for 120,000. That's the best case scenario target for the end of next month, on the basis that we have the 200-day line rising, and we're probably not too far away. In fact, we've actually also got the 50-day line rising, which I didn't actually see. That's at 85,000. So the next time they cross will be a golden cross, which means we're heading into a golden cross, which for Bitcoin could be quite explosive. Upside value while we hold above that 200-day line at 89,000. On to gold, and here it's interesting to see whether the tariff debacle and the geopolitical situation cancel each other out, or cancel the rally that we've had. But so far, we're staying above that old resistance line target there, 3270. We've got the floor of that rising trend channel from back in November still there, and probably worth actually getting rid of that now, because it rather confuses the situation. But in that rising trend channel from last month, and the longer we stay above 3270, the greater the chance of a move towards the top of the channel there, 3800, which I suppose is the best case scenario. Target would be 3800 by the end of next month, although that sounds rather optimistic. Maybe June would be a better time. If we do break down below 3270, it's the 50-day line there now at 3060, which is the obvious target. Moving on to the stocks, and starting off with Andrada, here you can see that it's the second time lucky in terms of breaking the 200-day line. We haven't sustained a move above the 200-day line since the end of 2023, so this would be a turnaround, a proper technical turnaround at least. And above that 200-day line at 2.9 pence, looking for the top of that triangle from last June, as high as 4.85 pence by the end of next month. Moving along to the situation at Aurrigo, and here, not a stock that many people look at, which is probably the reason for looking at it. And if I can type in the right code, you can see that we managed to have a bear trap gap reversal, one of our favorite signals there from below 43 pence, broken the 200-day moving average at 59, and but now looking more seriously at 85 pence at the top of that rising trend channel base previously identified by the end of next month. The key here, staying above that 200-day moving average. Another stock which I'm sure hardly anybody looks at, but will obviously claim the credit if it actually does very well, is CRISM Therapeutics, and here, if I can get the shares on the screen, we've got a rising trend channel base, top of the channel there, heading for 17 pence, looking for that by the end of next month. The 50-day moving average rising well, and I suspect the 200-day line is also starting to rise, but at least while we're above that 50-day line at 8, looking for 17 or so on CRISM. Next up is a stock which has promised to have a great 2025 and is actually delivering on that. We noticed the gap through resistance at the end of last month. We had our initial target there at 24 pence, and second target there at 30 pence, which is obviously very close now after the £1 billion order, which I remember from the RNS this morning. Best case scenario up to 40 pence plus by the end of next month, while we're above 24 pence, the recent target. I want to celebrate Jet2's £250 million share buyback, which rather reminds us that maybe rather than complaining about share price valuations, CEOs should just buy back their shares. Top of that broadening triangle there at £17.50. Looking for that by the end of next month, while we're above the 200-day line at 14.35. Ideally, we stay on the right side of £15. But you can see that we already had the island reversal there with the unfilled gap to the upside earlier this month. So maybe one or two people guessed that there was a share buyback on the way. On to Metals One, which I suppose deserves a permanent spot in the Bulletin Board Heroes, given its recent performance, highlighted here at 2 pence, and it's now nearly 30 pence. I don't think many people can boast of that kind of charting call in the recent past. 33 pence, the top of that channel there from back in February, and we're looking for 40 pence by the end, or we were looking for 40 pence by the end of next month, which is a resistance line projection from October. So I think Metals One has done rather better than all the other boasting around the market that goes on. Manolete is next, and here you can see that we've gapped off the floor of that rising trend channel base, top of the channel there, heading for towards the 125 pence area, which is the target for the shares, while they remain above the 50-day line at 87 pence on an end-of-day close basis. Obviously, initially we've got that 200-day line, 102, which has been the block on progress in the recent past, namely last summer. Another obscure name, Nexteq, which has a falling trend channel base. We have a gap closed buy signal, so there's a gap down there, but we closed that today at 60 pence, and above 60 pence, looking for the top of the range and the top of the channel there at 73 pence. Hopefully by the end of next month or even sooner. RSI has pushed through neutral 50 as well, which is a nice thing to happen. On to Thruvision, where I saw somebody tweeted that Graham Cooley of CapEx fame and various other places fame has bought 2% of Thruvision. Here you can see the shares nudging with the 50-day line at 1.85 pence, let's call it. Above that, looking for the initial target here at 2.8 pence by the end of next month. But we do need to see an end-of-day close above that, given that there hasn't been proper action above the 200-day line for quite some time. Returning to Tialis, and here you can see that despite a red candle yesterday, things are still looking quite bright. It was an unfilled gap to the upside at the start of the rally, and looking for up towards £1.10 by the end of next month at the top of that broadening triangle from the summer of 2023. Didn't think I'd be charting Versarien again, and maybe I never will after this, but we have a falling trend channel base here, top of the channel there, around 0.05. I suppose if we do get through that, and I'm still going to know what would stop looking at the fundamentals here, the next target up would be up to 0.08, but obviously a stock which has created a few widows and orphans over the years. And end of day close above that old February peak around 0.04.5 would be a nice gesture, as would a rising 50-day moving average. On to one of the RNSs of the day, if not the RNS of the day, which was Xtract, and here Silver King has delivered the goods, and high grades as well. We were looking for, and have been looking for, 1.3 pence for quite some time. got quite close to it today, and hopefully, while we're above recent resistance around 0.93, 1.3 pence will be the target for the shares over the next couple of weeks. RSI 50 rebound as well, but the main thing here is that we had an unfilled gap off the upside to the upside at the beginning of last month, which was the big buy signal, and then the triangle top there, 1.3 pence. Another stock coming back from the dead, which is a theme, has been the theme of the last couple of months for the small caps, is Wishbone breaking through the 50-day moving average for the first time properly since back in May last year. The rising trend channel base here pointing to 0.21, which had been promising since the shares were below 0.12 or towards 0.12. And above that, probably one can upgrade the upside and be looking for as high as 0.31 over the next couple of months, maybe by the end of June, if we can get a swift result on that 0.21 target. Ideally, we stay now above recent resistance at 0.14. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.